Hey, you guys, I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about my son since today is Autism Awareness Month. Um, I've been wanting to share my testimony of how we have, you know, um, been this journey on Leo autism. Um, y'all are gonna hear a lot of ums because I get really nervous, but I feel like I need to share Leo's testimony with you guys. So, Leo, at the age of 2, was when they told us he was autistic. Like around 2.5, they told us that he was autistic. Before that, he was, doing all his little milestones, and he was saying little words here and there. Bottle. He was asking for his bottle. He was, I didn't see anything. I just started seeing before he turned 2, a couple of months. I started seeing that he was getting a little fussy, like frustrated, and I put it with maybe his teeth. His teething. I didn't make a big deal out of it because I didn't know what signs that I was supposed to look for. So my oldest, when we went to their checkup, I always did their checkups together because their birthdays, as soon as Leo was born, their birthdays is, my oldest is 7/11. Of course, they're different. They're like 11 years apart. But his is 7/11 and Leo's is 7/12. And the little one y'all hear in the back, y'all know it's Leo. He's playing on Dad's desk, which Dad loves that. But anyways, so yes, when we went to their 2-year, to Leo's 2-year appointment, my oldest was telling the doctor, my brother has been fussy. I had told him too, and I thought it's teething, and he goes, but he was like, well, what else is he doing? And so my oldest also said, like, he's walking more on his tiptoes. And I was like, I never noticed it because I've always been like in a rush, working and working and working. And if I'm not working, I was doing like appointments with my dad or my mom or Leo's. And I know y'all are not going to like the way I say it, but Leo's sperm donor, I don't consider him as a dad because that's a different other story. But anyways, that's how I call him. Anyways, they've had appointments and I was working the night shift, so I would sleep during the day. It was just so much, and I didn't see the signs that my oldest son did. So my oldest saw these signs, right? And so he's telling the doctor, and the doctor's like, he could be considered as being autistic. And I was like, okay. And then he started explaining it to me. Then he said, we're going to send him to the Autism Network, and then from there they're gonna do some studies, and they'll let you know where exactly he's at. So so that happened. His appointment wasn't like right away. It was like a couple of weeks. But then I started looking at him and started noticing he is walking on his tippy toes, and he is putting like all his toys in a row, and he is like trying to communicate with me because he was able to say a couple little words, but then all of a sudden he just couldn't say any words, and I saw the frustration in his head that was like, wait a minute, like I could say it now, why I can't say it now? So I started seeing those things, and I started reading into it, and was like, maybe he could be. But then once we went through the whole testing and the whole program, they told me yes, that Leo was autistic. So I was like, man, okay, something else on my plate, because I already had work. I already had my parents that I was taking to the doctors. I already had his sperm donor that I was, doing doctor's appointments as well. I was like, man, it's another thing on my plate. And I have Andrew, and Andrew was like in sports and stuff. And so I had to take, like, my life was always rushing. So Anyways, I was like, I have to, uh, we have to figure this out, you know, and it has to help Leo, and not just figure it out for me, but figure it out for him, to help him along the way. Like, what is it? What is it that I'm going to do? How are we going to do it? How, you know, I didn't know the first thing of autism. Um, there was a point, man, I hate crying. I'm very emotional. Ever since my dad passed, I have been very emotional of everything. It's just ridiculous. But there was a point that I did go into the restroom, and I got on my knees and I told God, why? Like, why? Why would you pick me? Why would you pick me at his mom? Why would you pick me as to help him in his life? Because I don't know one thing about autism. I don't know where to look. I don't know who to ask. I don't know what I'm doing. And seeing the frustration with him was very hard, because they had told me that he was gonna be nonverbal. That is our discussion still, because my husband still tells me, where's the nonverbal kid? But where's that one? I don't know where that one is. They had told me that Leo was going to talk to me through a tablet, because he wasn't going to be able to talk to me. And I was like, no, like, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how we're going to do that. And I love my husband, because he has helped me a lot. He's like, no, we're going to make Leo talk. We're going to make Leo talk. So every time Leo wanted something, he would point, and we would be like, no, what is it? And what is it? And I hate that he would get frustrated, but if we didn't push him, he was not gonna he was gonna keep on just doing sign language. But I wanted him to talk. And then so Leo didn't talk when he went. He didn't let people play with him. He didn't want nobody to play with. He didn't want. He just wanted to be alone. He didn't. He wanted to be in his own little world. As soon as he started school, he was doing good. He was doing okay. They would get issues with him because he doesn't take naps, which that's with both of my boys, because my oldest was the same way. He never took naps. They did good with him. You know, I did have to, because he wasn't potty trained. I did have to fight a little bit, because they would send them wet sometimes, and it was really like irritating me. But his first year and first 2 years, it was Head Start. It was Head Start and pre-K, and so he did okay those 2 years. We were doing speech and occupational therapy before he started school. Once he started school, he was doing speech. He wasn't doing occupational therapy. He was just doing speech. So, sorry. He was just doing speech in school, and they were saying that, you know, he was trying so hard. He would get frustrated. He would throw his tantrums. He would, you know, I would get phone calls. I was working the night shift that time, so I would get phone calls. I would either have to go and help them calm him down, or they would, I would just bring him home. Then as soon as he was going to go to kinder, as soon as he was going to go to kinder, they said that they only did Head Start and pre-K, and that in that school they didn't have that program for him. So they sent him to another school. This is where it just all went really bad. So when they sent him to the other school, it was pre-K. No, no, I keep getting confused. I'm sorry. It was kinder. And those teachers were amazing. They were a blessing. I'm in love with those teachers because they pushed him as well to talk. He hated it, but they pushed him. They helped me so much. They were helping him with his letters. They were helping him with his numbers. They were helping him a lot. I appreciate those teachers to death. Oh my God. Um, they have been so amazing. They were so amazing with him. And even till this day, they do still text me, how's Leo? How's Leo doing? How's our big boy? You know, our silly clown, because he would make them laugh all the time. He had an amazing year that year. It was awesome. Um, he still wasn't potty trained, but they were helping me with that too. It was, you know, we were trying to get there. We were trying to get there, do his little milestones, and he was still getting his speech. He was talking. Oh my God, when Leo started talking, because they were helping him talk. My oldest and my husband make fun of me all the time because Leo would say one little word and I would be bawling, I would be crying, I would be like, because he would say like butterfly, or he would say excavator. I was like, tell me more, tell me more. Now I'm trying to tell him like, okay, be quiet. So I was like, oh my God, like it was a miracle to me because he was talking. It was amazing. And he had his little friends. That year was an awesome year for him. So I was like, I, I was in love with those teachers, and I'm still very thankful for them. Once he went to first grade, oh, once he went to first grade, it was horrible. I found out that um, my sister has a friend or her sister-in-law that works at the old school where he used to go. I found out they were treating my son like if he were a cat, because they said that sometimes Leo didn't want to cooperate. Sometimes Leo just, you know, wanted to do his own thing. And they would just get the little light and make him follow the light and, you know, have him do stuff like that. Or, you know, so it upset me. But I mean, it had already passed. Nothing I could do. It's just, I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to, you know, I, I'm I'm growing in life, and I'm growing with Christ, and you know, and I'm growing to be the bigger person. So I just didn't want to deal with any of that. I didn't want to talk about it or anything. It's just it happened, but he's better off right now, and I'm great. But first grade, oh, first grade was terrible. I changed my work status to the day shift because my husband didn't like me working nights anymore. At that time, we weren't. It wasn't. That's another story. We weren't together. We were getting to know each other. When I found out that Leo was autistic, we were getting to know each other. And he was helping me along the way because like I said, I yelled at God and I said, why? Like, I don't understand why you choose me as to be his mother because I don't know what I'm doing. But I didn't give up. I don't give up on my children. My children are my world, and my children start with my brother and my sister. I never gave up on them. I never gave up on my kids. I don't like I'm sorry. Okay. Off subject. um but first grade. First grade. This teacher, oh my God. They said she was highly recommended. I don't know from where because she did not know one thing to do with Leo. I was getting phone calls left and right, left and right. I would get to work, and by like an hour or 2 hours, they would be calling, if you can come and get him because he's very uncooperative. He's throwing himself on the floor. He's doesn't let us change him. It was just horrible. And I kept asking them, I was like, why? to me, I'm in my head like, why is it like both classrooms were together where his old teacher was and where his new teacher was? Why can't you just go and ask, hey, you know what? I'm having a little trouble trying to help this child. Like, how did y'all do it? Or how were y'all to find out about your kids? Because they're different. Their autism is different. A lot of kids were they you know that were in the class, they were different. Um I was like, find out, like, don't y'all have a folder on y'all's kids? What works, what doesn't work? I told you dinosaurs is his favorite thing. Cars are his favorite thing. If you want him to count, get the dinos and just be like, okay, I have little dinos at home. I said I could bring them to you, whatever, and it'll help. Leo's comfort toy is his dino. He has a triceratops that he sometimes, not as much now, but that year, that whole year, he wanted to take him because that was his safe. That's his safe zone. And every time he would take his triceratops, they would be like, no, he can't bring it. And he can't bring it. I was like, but you let this other kid take a blanket all the time. And they're like, yeah, because that's his safety. I said, well, Leo's safety is his his dinosaur. But it's a toy and all the kids want to play with the toy and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, whatever. So I got him a little dino. Also, the same thing because he took it out in class. I told him, okay, have it in your pocket. It's your safety. Just hold it in your pocket. This and this. Nope, they found it, and man, it upset me so bad when I was taking him to inside the school because I had to carry him all the time. I had to carry him on my back because he did not want to get off the car. As soon as he saw us do the turn into the school, he was just yelling, I don't want to, I don't want to. And he was just like not having it. So I would have to carry him inside. And when I would carry him inside, one time he decided that he wanted to walk. So I was like, okay, maybe we're progressing here. He goes, Mommy. I said, yes. He goes, here. And he gives me a dinosaur. And I was like, baby, you could take it. Just remember, leave it in your pocket. And he goes, no, they get mad. I was like, oh, okay. In my head, it's like, oh, it was frustrating me. But then, you're trying to be the bigger person, trying to help this and this. And then other times they would call and be like, he doesn't want us to change him. I was okay that they were calling me because the other times that they weren't calling me, I would get him and he would be soaking wet or dirty. I was like, one time they put him in my car. Oh my God. They put him in the car and I was like, what's that smell? I was like, Papa, did you fart? He goes, no, poop. I was like, what? He had poop, not just on his diaper, but on his shorts. You're going to tell me that you did not smell that during the whole time? Anyways, I was just, so I had meetings. I had a lot of meetings and was like, the teacher was, and then when I would pick him up sometimes, that he would stay all day, they would tell me, oh, can you come inside and get him because he's crying. He would be in a corner crying and crying and still couldn't tell me. He was talking, saying words, but he couldn't explain to me what was going on. He's recently doing that now because he told on his brother last Sunday. um so he recently, like, he couldn't tell me what was going on, right? So then I was just getting frustrated. I was getting tired. And my husband was just like, you're going to have to just get out of work. And I'm like, I guess, because work was slowing down. And I was like, you know what? Like, I guess I am. I'm going to have to get out of work and find him another school that's around the house. So I was trying to look for a different school. They told me they already had a capacity of as many students that they could have there. So I was like, okay. My last straw was when I went to go pick up my son. and she's in a rush to give all the kids, all their parents their kids, right? She had Leo by one hand and she had another kid by the other hand. Well, they're trying to go down the stairs. Leo is not balanced yet. Even still now, he can't go up or down the stairs really fast. He takes his time. And sorry, my mouth's getting dry. And so he takes his time, right? And she was trying to, the other kid was rushing and she was trying to still hold on to Leo. Well, Leo looked like he almost felt forward because the way she pulled him. And he's like, wait. And he pushes back. And she's like, come on, because we have to go drop off. Uh, we have to go drop off. I can't remember the little boy's name. With his grandma. With his grandma. And then Leo would be like, wait. And I went and I got my son and I put him in the car with his oldest brother. And my son was like, Mom, what are you doing? And I said, I'll be right back. I went and I took that lady to the side and I said, why are you trying to rush things when we're all right there? We're all waiting patiently. You don't have to rush. And then why are you trying to rush to give me Leo when I'm already going towards him? I was just upset at that point. I was like, you know what? That's it. That's enough. I got tired of all the phone calls, of all the, one time I even went because they were like, we can't transfer Leo from the gym to the classroom. He doesn't want to go. When I went, I was upset because it was like three teachers. He was in a corner and three teachers, they were surrounding him. I was like, that's too much. Like, get away. Just get away from him. Let him calm down. Once he calms down, he'll do it. I go, but if you already know he doesn't like going to the gym for a certain reason, that he doesn't want to go to the gym, then don't take him. Y'all, you have three teachers. One of y'all could just spend some time with the kids that don't want to go to the gym. I don't know. It's just something that I was like in my head, like trying to figure it out. If that kid doesn't want to go, doesn't want to go. They would call me and he would be thrown on the floor in the hallway, crying and doing his tantrum for like supposedly an hour, they would say. I was in my head like, an hour? I was just like done with that year. I took him out. Even before the year, they're like, oh, well, why? And where is he going to go? And this, and I was like, I'm going to homeschool. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to be able to homeschool. Oh my God, homeschool is kind of hard, especially with your child that's autistic. You have to get them to want to do it, because they made it to the point that he didn't want to do anything. They made it to the point that he would write his name in kindergarten. They were teaching him to write his name, but in first grade, he didn't want to hold the pencil anymore. Every time he saw a paper, he was panicking. Every time that year, his word of that year was, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, all the time. But he couldn't explain to us why he was scared all the time. Now he tells us everything. Now he's starting to tell us everything. Um, but yes, that has been our journey right now with Leo. He's progressed so much. He's going to speech and occupational therapy. They are telling me that Leo is progressing a lot with his speech and occupational therapy. He is learning how to button stuff. He is learning how to make sentences out of things. Because like I said, he told on his brother last Sunday, and and he is learning a lot. Yes, and I know y'all could see him right there, but I don't want y'all to see him all the way because he loves to be without a shirt, just in his boxers at home. That's his. Once we get into the door, like if we leave somewhere and come right back, everything comes off. He's just in his boxers. That's his comfort. One thing that I do want to share also is that what Leo has taught me is to slow down. My life was always like rushing and doing stuff and doing for Like I said, my parents had appointments. His sperm donor had appointments. Um, Andrew was in for basketball practice. I would have to, do that. Like I was always rushing and rushing. I had to work. I was working 2 jobs. For a moment, I was working at night and daytime. But Leo has taught me, and it's hard for a lot of people to understand it, and it was hard for me to understand it. But man, I gotta enjoy life. My life is always running, 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 but I haven't enjoyed life. And with Leo, like I enjoy every day. I enjoy that I get to spend time with my kids. I enjoy it just because I was around sometimes. Like it wasn't that I was there. I was exhausted all the time. Leo has taught me to be patient, to have patience because man, if you get the old me, my brother and my sister already know. Nobody cannot touch them because if you touch them, that lion of a big sister comes out, and you don't want to see that one. So I just learned to just enjoy life now, and yeah, we may be not where I want to be because my dreams were like my husband was helping me go to phlebotomy school because I love doing that. But I was like, man, once I graduate, I'll find a job. Leo would be fine at school, but I couldn't look for a job because I was like, I have to make sure Leo is okay. Once Leo's okay, Leo's taken care of, then I'll try to find a job. But then all the hours were like out. You get out till 5 or 6. I didn't have anybody to pick up Leo from school. If you are gonna learn something from me, you are gonna learn that it's very hard for me to ask for help. I appreciate your help if you help me. I am very thankful and I am very blessed, and from the bottom of my heart, I love you if you help me. But for me to ask you to help me, it's very hard. Very hard. I'm kind of like easing into it because it's just something that my dad taught me. My dad taught me is like if someone helps you, it's because they want something in return. Or if you help someone, like it has to be because of something. No one helps you just to help you. You know what I mean? And if not, then they just blow it up in your face. Like, oh, well, I did this for you last time. You can't even do this, this. Like that's how my life has been. So that's why I don't ask anyone for help. That's why my last resort is asking for help. I try to do it on my own all the time. But totally off subject. Anyways, that is something I wanted to share with y'all about Leo because I don't think a lot of people know how our journey started or how our journey is going, but it is going amazing. He is learning a lot. His occupational therapy and his speech therapy are saying that he is trying to learn at his own pace. They they see it like Leo. He does the work, but when they want to push him a little bit more, he's like his way to saying I'm done. He's like, oh, stinky butt, stinky butt. The answer to everything. Once they start hearing him say that, it's like, okay, then that means he's done. He doesn't want to do it anymore. So they kind of distract him. They're getting to know Leo, getting to help Leo. He's progressing a whole lot more. And what we started noticing now, and we kind of want to help Leo, but we kind of don't know how to do it, is that he's trying to learn how to read because he sees the words and he's like, it says, and then whatever he thinks it says, that's what he says. And so we help him like pronounce it, we help him like say it, and then he'll say it. Right now, he's repeating everything. He even repeats in Spanish. He loves to repeat my whatever my mom says. His favorite word in Spanish is "quítate, quítate." That's all he says. So, because he just pushes you and gets you out of the way. Um, but yeah, I know I've been trying to close this whole video. Um, I just want to thank you guys for listening, and tell you guys a little bit, about Leo and about how it's going. And I'm gonna continue making videos, updates on Leo, and just to have them also for my records. Y'all can watch the videos as well, but just because y'all can get to know my child, because I have two amazing kids. I love you guys, and that's a wrap. Be blessed and be a blessing. Leo, say Leo. Leo, see, I still haven't finished my coffee. Leo. Baba. Hey, say bye, everybody. Bye. Wave. Baba. Look. That's it. He's done. Because I'm letting him be on his tablet a little too long. We have to get into our homeschool. But yes, be a blessing. And I love you guys so much. Bye bye.